The absence of flags and people at the All-Ireland finals in December lingers as an unsettled memory. The lining of streets outside sparse churches, family homes, rugby clubs and football pitches during funerals, not just physically distant people and grieving families, but separated us from cherished rituals and rites. Benedict and Constantine, who have lived with us here in Cork for the last 7 months, must be the first Germans ever in Ireland to never have entered a pub. In fact, they told me the other day that the only places that they have been since they arrived in Ireland are Aldi and Tesco's. As our pandemic lingers, there's a restlessness in the air. You can almost feel it. Most people continue to adhere to the regulations, but they are longing for a fresh beginning and a new dawn and a brighter reign. The crowds flocked to Jerusalem for the feast of the Passover and the holy days that marked the liberation of the people from slavery in Egypt. It is a season that stirs up hopes and frustrations. The people now live under the control of the Romans, whom they detest not only as their enemies, but as enemies of God. Romans and pandemics fuel frustration. They both stir restlessness. In a recent Dáil debate, it was suggested that the government is losing the dressing room. Soccer personality Paul Gascoigne once remarked, "I like to help create team spirit in the dressing room. I feel that I have loads of love to give." The enthusiasm greeting Jesus seems sincere, but it is bathed in a cry of vengeance. The crowd will quickly turn against him. Jesus' triumphant entry on Palm Sunday sets up a confrontation with the principalities and powers represented by King Herod, the high priest Caiaphas, and the Roman governor Pontius Pilate. Coming from Caesarea, Pilate entered the city from the city west, riding a war horse at the head of the imperial cavalry. His entry was essentially a military parade demonstrating might. Jesus, on the other hand, arrived at the Mount of Olives, east of Jerusalem. He not only entered Jerusalem from the opposite direction than the Roman governor, but in the opposite manner. Instead of riding a war horse like Pilate, Jesus rides a donkey, and not even a full-grown donkey, but a donkey's colt. Jesus' triumphant entry was the anti-military parade. It was mockery of Rome's intimidating show of military power. It also presented Jerusalem with a stark contrast between the way of war and the way of peace. At the beginning of Holy Week, Pontius Pilate and Jesus of Nazareth are at the head of two different parades. The question for us is which parade we are marching in. The military parade of Pilate that still believes that the world is shaped by war, or the peace parade of Jesus that understands that with the coming of Christ, war has been abolished. At the beginning of Holy Week, it is good to record our team spirit temperature. Are we about to turn against our solidarity pact to get through this pandemic together? marching to the power of love, we can prevail against our pandemic dilemmas. Amen.